Can someone help me understand how it's $35 just to make tacos now?
It appears the rising cost of living is poised to affect Canadians' holiday shopping habits.
How much money did I pay in exit tax when I left Canada?
Hey Canadians, bees don't explain to flies why honey is better than shit.
Our generation is cooked. We're gonna be living in our parents' basements until we're 35 because I just spent $30.
Ever feel like living in Canada is expensive? Like really expensive? Well, you're not wrong.
You should care that Mark Carney is putting Canada even deeper in debt.
What is going on in Canada that this house costs?
2025, that same market is now $21 to enter.
I am a Canadian citizen born in Ontario, and I'm about to give up.
I am feeling like I want to die and that this is complete torture.
Welcome to the Canadian Rant, and today we're talking about something every Canadian is feeling right now, whether we admit it or not. Canada has officially hit its breaking point. People who work full-time can't afford rent. Families are choosing between food and bills. Grocery prices are a joke. Gas is sky high, taxes take everything, and no matter how hard we grind, we're falling further behind. This isn't the Canada we grew up in. This isn't the Canada we were promised. We're witnessing the slow collapse of a country we once believed was safe, stable, fair, and full of opportunity. Now, hardworking Canadians are drowning while politicians tell us everything is fine. Well, everything is not fine. Canadians are exhausted, Canadians are angry, Canadians are being pushed to the edge. So today, we're going to talk about how we got here, why the cost of living is destroying our future, and why Canadians are losing hope in their own country because silence is no longer an option.
Listen up, guys. We got to talk about this because I'm about to lose my mind. Here's a few grocery runs that I had to get over the past week. And this is, keep in mind, this is not the essential groceries that I go to once a month from Costco because, you know, we have kids and all. But I mean, look at this, $143 here, $120 there, $77 here, $125. Over the past week, I've spent over $500 on grocery runs. And that's not even the essentials that we get once a month. How are we supposed to function and survive out here? That's why I want to take this time to say that we all need to pull together and support each other. So if you see somebody out there hustling, what I want you to do is get on there, hit that follow, like their content, share their content, and let's get this train going. We really need to support each other out here.
It appears the rising cost of living is poised to affect Canadians' holiday shopping habits. An outlook from the insolvency firm Harris and Partners shows many across the country are preparing for a modest Christmas. Data shows almost 72% of the more than 1,800 participants say they will cut back on spending. The report comes as the economy continues to struggle with U.S. and Chinese tariffs, as well as inflation. Many say they do not feel financially prepared for the holidays and have anxiety about being able to afford them. The firm who conducted the survey says Canadians who feel this way should set realistic budgets, start planning early, and seek financial guidance.
Many Canadians say they'll be spending less this holiday season as they work through the higher cost of living. This is according to a new survey from insolvency firm Harris and Partners. Almost 72% of Canadians surveyed say they will cut back on Christmas spending this year. About 62% say they don't feel financially prepared for the holidays, and 53% said they have real anxiety about affording it.
Can someone help me understand how it's $35 just to make tacos now? Like, used to make tacos because it was like a meal you can make super cheap. I just went in the grocery store to only buy things I needed to make tacos, and it's $35. What the fuck is going on? This is fucking nuts.
This is how unaffordable it is to live in Canada right now. So I went to engineering school, graduated, and got a great job working in the engineering consulting industry, and I have a good wage. My boyfriend also works in engineering and has a great wage. But when we graduated and moved downtown, we weren't able to save any money because the cost of living is so high. Now, I have saved for a down payment in the last couple of years, and I'm ready to buy property, which is super exciting. But what that took was hustling my ass in the evenings, building my social media, and doing brand deals. And I got into a throuple in the past 2 years. So I split my rent 3 ways. But like, is that the standard? Do you have to work 2 jobs and be poly to survive in this economy? Because that works for me. But I don't know if everyone wants that.
Let's be honest right now. Living in Canada right now, groceries feel like a luxury item. Gas is literally robbing us, and daycare is more than my rent. And one day I woke up and I said, I'm done. I'm done watching every single paycheck vanish before my eyes before I could enjoy it. That's why.
Hey Canadians, bees don't explain to flies why honey is better than shit. And honestly, that's exactly what it's like talking to you people. You guys are so slow and dense that you can't even see that you're drowning. And some of us, we're awake. Some of you, you're awake. And you see the shifts, you see the cracks, and you know you need a better way of life. And I get that. I feel that. So hit the follow button, and maybe we can find our escape together. Pick people that choose honey over shit.
I am feeling like I want to die and that this is complete torture. And I don't know what I did to somebody to make me sit here and do this. And I just don't think it's nice.
What is going on in Canada that this house costs? Let's play a game. Get a number in your head. Okay. Think, what do you think this costs? All right. Hold on. Cause you're wrong. $3 million. For that?
Ever feel like living in Canada is expensive? Like really expensive? Well, you're not wrong. Here's just a few of the things you'll pay more for as a Canadian. Number 1, housing. This shouldn't come as a surprise, but housing in Canada is extremely expensive compared to the rest of the world. In fact, we have one of the worst price to income ratios for housing of any developed country. And it's getting worse. Prices are rising in Canada twice as quickly as in any other G7 state. Number 2, cell phone and internet services. StatsCan says that compared to countries like the US, Australia, France, Germany, Japan, Italy, and the UK, Canada has either the highest or the second highest cell phone prices when you adjust for purchasing power of any of those countries. And when it comes to internet prices, The Economist ranks Canada 15th most expensive out of 100 different countries. Number 3, food. According to Numbeo, it costs $466 to buy the minimum amount of food that one person should eat every day in Canada. That's a lot higher than some other countries. In the UK, that number is $316. In Italy, it's $418. In Germany, it's $405. Even Australia is cheaper at $419 per month. But to be fair, the US is more expensive when it comes to food, at least according to Numbeo. So you're not imagining things. Living in Canada is pretty expensive. But hey, at least the healthcare is free, right?
You should care that Mark Carney is putting Canada even deeper in debt. And no, it's not just a government problem, it affects you directly. When the government takes on more debt, your tax dollars go towards paying the interest on that debt, not into healthcare, housing, schools, or disability supports. That money goes into banks and wealthy investors instead. And later on, they use that debt as an excuse to cut public services. They'll say, we can't afford healthcare, we can't afford housing programs, we need to tighten the belt. But notice that they never cut corporate subsidies or billionaire loopholes. When the debt gets too big, guess who they raise taxes on? Not billionaires, you. Higher sales tax, property taxes, income taxes. Meanwhile, the ultra-rich still get their tax breaks. And once the debt is high enough, they push privatization. They'll say the public system is too expensive, so we need private healthcare, private transit, private everything, which makes daily life way more expensive for regular Canadians. And the worst part, we are retaking on this debt without actually fixing affordability. Housing is still unaffordable. Groceries are still high. Wages are still stagnant. So what are we getting from all this debt? Nothing that helps us. So yeah, you should care, because this isn't about left versus right. This is about public debt becomes a tool to shift the wealth from the people to the wealthy, while service gets cut and your cost of living goes up.
$7 to attend a Christmas market is not that bad, especially when this market's super cute and there's 300 and some odd vendors. However, that was back in 2014. Fast forward 11 years in 2025, that same market is now $21 to enter. It's gone up 200%. It just confirms that our salaries have not kept up with the cost of living here in Canada. It's absolutely crazy. And it just confirms that basically everyday Canadians are being squeezed We're not crazy. We're not losing our minds. It really is that much more expensive to live in this country. Honestly, the solution, if you want to stay in Canada, is that you need to make more money because it is so expensive to live here these days.
So today was the first day I fully realized that young people are totally screwed. I have an apprentice from East India, and a really good guy, really hard worker, and he's been growing his hair out. And I thought it was for some religious purpose, cultural. And I asked him, how long does he plan to grow his hair out? And he said, I don't. I can't afford a haircut. This is a kid that works a full-time job with me, 80 to 90 hours a week, has 2 other part-time jobs on the weekend and evenings, and he can't afford a haircut. So on the way home from work, we were chatting, and I got to know his bills. And he doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, hardly eats out, doesn't go out with his friends, and he's just freaking broke. He has a rent of $1,780 a month, and that's a basic 2-bedroom apartment. And of course, we all know groceries is bonkers. Young people are screwed, like absolutely screwed. They can't make it. Is anybody else feeling this way? Or does anybody else notice that they just cannot afford to live? Today's the first day it actually clued into me that you young guys are freaking screwed.
We just did our groceries today, and the total was $164. That's actually just the basics: fries, bread, a bit of veggies and fruits, kitchen towel, eggs, some meats, snacks, and pancake. Super limited choices, but hey, that's how you save, right? If you want to see more real-life Canada content, follow for more.
How much money did I pay in exit tax when I left Canada? But first, what is exit tax? It's Canada's last you before you show the government that you've had enough of their by leaving the country. I'm going to explain 3 tiers. Now, let's say you've saved $100,000. Now, the government cannot tax that money because it's money that's already been taxed. Another thing they cannot tax is your principal residence. If you sell your house that you live in, that money is free and clear. There will be no exit tax on your principal residence. So, when does exit tax affect you? Exit tax affects you when you have assets. That's rental properties, stocks, or shares in a business. And depending on how your business is set up, will be on how complex it is to pay Canada on its exit tax. Now let's talk about assets. Let's say you have a rental property and you bought it for $100,000 and it went up to $200,000. So you made $100,000 of value. So what the government will do, it'll tax you on 50% of the value that the property went up for 50%. So you'll be paying the government of Canada $25,000 for exit tax on that asset. Now it's the same with stocks. If you have stocks that are worth $100,000 and they went up to $200,000, you will get taxed 50% on the value that it went up. So that's 50 grand for 50%. So you'll be paying another $25,000 of exit tax when leaving Canada. Now, if you have a business, here's where things get a little bit tricky. Because you started that business at zero, and let's say after 10 years you grow it up to $4 million, you'll be paying $1 million in exit tax because it's 50% of the value and then 50% of tax on that 50%. So roughly 25%. $1 million. Terrible, I know. But businesses get a little bit complex and tricky because there's trusts, shareholders, and sister companies. So I highly recommend you talk to an accountant if you want to shut down your business because I cannot give you that information. So how much money did I pay in exit tax? Well, I sold my house, which was my principal residence, so all that money was free and clear. Now I do have a rental property, and that rental property did not go up in value, so there'll be no exit tax on that. And then for my business, I had a window washing business, but because I'm a sole proprietor, the only taxes I'll be paying on that will be my income taxes. Now, if anyone else has any information on this, please leave it in the comments. And then click the link in the bio if you want more information, and like and follow if you want to leave Canada as well.
Hi, I am a Canadian citizen born in Ontario, and I'm about to give up. I'm tired of feeling like I have no more options, like there's just a tape over my mouth, because the government is literally shutting off every single opportunity I could have. I can't find work. I have no way to ever save up money or build a future for myself because I don't even have the option to right now. And we live in a society where everything is $1 million and above to afford living, and humanity just doesn't exist anymore. It's just money. So I'm at this point just wondering, because things are so bad for me, I might just give up. I might just...
Oh, honey. It really is kind of comical how many Americans who never gave Canada a single fucking thought for the last 100 years all of a sudden are experts with a whole lot to say. Now, listen close. Those in glass houses should not throw stones. You ever heard that one before? Your country is what, like almost $37 trillion in debt? You are officially a welfare state. Your people are taxed almost as high as we are. You clearly are in such a state of despair in your country that a giant population of you were willing to deal with whatever kind of nonsense and havoc Trump was going to rain loose on your country to try to fix that problem, right? To get you out of debt, to bring your costs down, to do all these things. You were willing to vote in a man like Donald Trump. A convicted felon, a rapist, someone who is going to break your constitution to reintroduce church to state when he is the kind of man who has sexually assaulted women and cheated on his spouses with porn stars. The same man that's going to preach to you what your family values should be, even though he's got how many kids with how many women? The same guy that won't release the Epstein files. But that's fine, because he's going to get you out of the shit economy you have. Now, if you want to compare our countries, let's do that for a second, okay? Canada is almost always, but we rank in the top 10 safest countries in the world to live in. America, you might as well pull out your shovel because you just keep fucking digging your hole deeper when it comes to that. Canadians don't feel the need to carry firearms around everywhere they go because we're afraid of our neighbors. No, we help our neighbors because we're good people. We don't make sure that our kids wear bulletproof backpacks to school. Our kids don't even have to do drills for active shooters. It's never a fear for us that our kids won't come home from school. We're never afraid that a medical emergency is going to bankrupt us. We still have respect for women. And we're never afraid that our daughters might bleed out in a hospital parking lot because they can't get the health care that they need. Unlike the ununited states of America, we may be tiny, but we have 42 million people that band together like brothers. And currently that's happening against you, all because you voted in an absolute piece of shit that is threatening us to get yourself out of the shitstorm you're in. So just have a good day.
Our generation is cooked. We're gonna be living in our parents' basements until we're 35 because I just spent $30 on 2 boxes of cereal and milk. Like, how do you expect me to move out of my house when that is 2 hours of work right there? That's equivalent to 2 hours of my life is 2 boxes of cereal and some milk. Absolutely ridiculous. Welcome to the Liberal government of Canada.
Hi, Montreal Mike here. So you just saw the video of the young Canadian guy who spent $30 on 2 boxes of cereal and a gallon of milk. 2 hours of his life. So this background photo is an image of, this is something that I eat. I don't spend $30 on my grocery. That is a homemade ramen soup. And that whole thing, to put that together, cost me far less than $30 to buy the various ingredients. And it cost me maybe $1.50 per bowl to make. So, cost of living. Let's get serious here, folks. Everybody's struggling right now. I don't care who you are. The price of stuff has gone up. It's as simple as that. And you need to be smart when you shop. So instead of going to a convenience store and buying 2 jumbo-sized boxes of cereal and a jug of milk there and spending $30, you can shop around and find the same thing for $5, $10 less. There's things called coupons. There's apps that will literally tell you where the best deals are in your town. I mean, when I went to university in the 1990s, I lived on Mr. Noodle and I'll say craft dinner, right? Wasn't gourmet, but it didn't cost me $30 to eat for a week. And that was in 1993. So, you know, the other generations before you had it just as rough, and some even had it rougher. I mean, some actually had to go out in the fields and harvest what they were going to eat for dinner that night, because their families only got to town maybe 2 or 3 times a month to get food. So, you know, learn to cook, learn to shop. These are life skills. You know, you need to learn these skills. No matter what the cost of living is, you need to learn how to economize and shop correctly. So don't blame the government for your bad shopping. Don't blame, you took 2 hours of your life. You chose to spend 2 hours of salary on 2 boxes of cereal and a gallon of milk. You paid convenience store prices. This is what you get. You got to learn to do stuff like this. This is 12 seconds of my life. And I don't just eat this. I eat a lot of things. I do a lot of cooking because my parents and my grandparents, and they taught me how to cook. And I go out and I shop. And if I want cereal, I might not necessarily get the corn pops. I might go for the corn poofs, which is like a knockoff brand, Kirkland or whatever. So it's fine to want to make a video and be angry about the cost of the things you like. I really, 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 really like champagne. I can't afford to drink it. I really like it. I'd like to have it, but there's no bottles of champagne in this house. So learn to shop. Educate yourself. Develop some life skills. What if you had no money and you had to eat? What would you do then? Well, if you were at home and all you had was a bag of flour and some water and a little bit of yeast, or not even any yeast, and some salt, would you be able to at least throw together a basic flatbread to feed yourself? Again, these are skills that other generations before your generation, his generation, have learned how to do. And we use them every day. You've got to learn. Be angry. Get over it. But you've got to learn. Not everything is the government's fault. Not everything is someone else's fault. Drop the victim mentality and take control of your life to get the outcome that you want.
Canada's at a crossroads. We can't just keep pretending that things will magically get better while rent doubles, food prices skyrocket, and wages stay frozen. We can't keep clapping for politicians who never step into a grocery store without cameras. We can't keep working ourselves to death just to survive another month. Canadians are reaching their limit, and the worst part is, we're being made to feel like it's our fault. Like if we just budgeted harder, if we just worked more hours, if we just stopped complaining. No, we're not lazy, we're not entitled. We're tired tired of living in survival mode in one of the richest countries on earth. The truth is simple: a country where people work full-time and can't afford a home, a country where children don't drink milk because it's too expensive, a country where seniors choose between medicine and heat, a country where young people can't imagine a future. That country is broken. Canada is cracking. And instead of fixing the foundation, the government keeps patching the walls, throwing slogans at crisis, throwing taxes at families, throwing excuses at people who simply want a life worth living. And this is why we speak up. This is why we make these videos. Not to spread negativity, but to say what millions of Canadians feel and don't get to say out loud. If you're tired of watching this country fall apart, if you're tired of being ignored, if you're tired of struggling in silence, then don't stay silent anymore. Leave a comment. Share your experience. Share your voice. Because the more Canadians speak up, the harder it becomes for politicians to pretend we don't exist. And before you go, don't forget, like the video, subscribe, and share this message, not for views, but because Canadians deserve to be heard. This has been the Canadian Rant, and we're not done. See you in the next video.